When you're first starting out as a content creator, podcaster, YouTuber, whatever, there are certain goals you put in place. There are certain benchmarks you aim for. But is one of those goals for you to be famous?
Sound matters. Be heard. Welcome to the podcast where you get exclusive behind-the-scenes tips to make your own show sound truly spectacular. This is Podtastic Audio.
Hey, what's happening? How are you doing today? Thank you so much for being here. I am Chris, and this is Podtastic Audio, the show which I have designed and created to help you, yes, you, make an amazing show for your audience. And one amazing tool to help you make that happen is Riverside.fm. Today's episode is brought to you by Riverside. Imagine recording studio quality audio and video from anywhere in the world. Yeah, you heard me right. Whether you are in a cozy home studio or you're on the go via a mobile device, Riverside.fm has got your back. With crystal clear sound and HD video, now offering 4K video. What? You'll sound like a pro every single time. And the best part? It's super easy to use. Hey, I can figure this out, then you can too. No more tech headaches. Just hit record and focus on what you do best, which should be creating that amazing content. Plus, you will get 15% off when you use promo code PODTASTIC. How cool is that? So if you're ready to take your podcast to the next level, head over to Riverside.fm and start recording like a rock star. Trust me, your listeners will thank you. All good podcasts start with Riverside.fm. What a crazy and exciting world we live in today, tech-wise. We have these mobile computers in the palm of our hand that fit right in our pocket with batteries that last all day that can communicate with anybody anywhere in the world at any time. We can watch video on these things. We can create video on these things. We can listen to audio on these things. We can make audio on these things. We can do an unlimited amount of things with our mobile devices, which makes it very easy for almost anybody, well, yeah, pretty much anybody, can become a content creator of any kind. And as you build out your audience with your amazing content, you'll grow in popularity and you'll become somewhat famous. Now, usually this takes years, if not decades, of constant work and constant dedication, crafting your thing and making sure you are staying consistent in your content year after year after year, constantly doing all the right things. And even with all of that, there's still a long way to go before you reach any level of fame. It usually doesn't happen overnight. And for those that it does, it's usually because of that one thing that we are all attracted to. It's that one thing that you have done. It's like, wow, or it's a one flash in the pan moment that the entire world is centered around. Let me introduce to you 22-year-old Haley Welch.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Now, before that clip, she was a nobody, had no social media, didn't even care about that stuff. Now she's on Instagram with over 2 million followers. She has been thrown right into the fame limelight, and she is riding it all the way to the bank. That 15 minutes of fame that she had, she is running with it and running for the hills. Let me tell you, she is trying to get a manager. She is trying to go to Hollywood. She is trying to start a reality TV show. And you know, there are a lot of people telling her right now, yeah, you can do that. Oh, yeah. You are famous. Oh, you are the it girl. You can do it all. You can be this. You can do that. You are amazing. Go, girl. You get it all. But did anybody ever check to see if she actually has any talent? Did she put the work in? No. Has she been popular before this happened? No. She came out of nowhere. Small town Tennessee. And she has definitely been bit by that fame bug. Maybe you have too. As a podcaster or even a content creator, today we're talking about what it's like, the dangers of chasing fame instead of focusing on creating high quality content. We'll also explore how, if you aim to be an influencer, like many of you do, it's also vital to be conscious of who is influencing you. So the first thing we have to understand is that fame is an illusion. What? Yeah, you have to understand there's actually an allure to the fame. In today's digital age, the allure of fame is stronger than ever. Social media platforms are filled with influencers showcasing glamorous lifestyles, which can make it tempting for podcasters like us to pursue fame as their primary goal. However, this focus can detract from what really truly matters, which should be delivering valuable and engaging content to your audience. And that content will definitely be impacted if you are focusing on the wrong things. Quality content is the bedrock of any successful podcast. Without quality content, your show is nothing. They come to your show for what matters most, and that is the content. Content is still king. Even if you have the best gear in the entire world with the best cameras and the best audio quality in the world, it won't even matter if you have nothing actually to talk about. So if you actually prioritize the content over the fame, you invest time and effort in researching topics, crafting compelling narratives, and providing real value to your listeners. This not only helps you build a loyal audience, but it also establishes your credibility and authority in your niche. Okay, so check this out. A podcast does not automatically hit 1 million downloads or become famous overnight. It usually takes years, if not decades, for that to even happen, depending on a lot of factors. But consider this. Podcasts that endure and grow over time are those that are consistently delivering high-quality content. These shows attract a dedicated audience that trusts and values the information or the entertainment they provide by focusing on content. You're building a foundation for a long-term success rather than the fleeting satisfaction of some one-hit wonder, some viral flame. Poof, you're gone tomorrow. So if you're still not convinced, you're thinking, Chris, yeah, I know, man, but I just want to be famous. I want that fame. I want to be popular. I want it all, man. Okay, you do. Okay, great. Well, let me tell you about the negative effects of chasing fame. Well, then your show will be short-lived and it will crash and burn as quickly as it came. Just like all of those thousands, if not millions of podcasters that started a show in 2020, 2021, and have now pod faded. There are probably millions of them. Chasing fame often leads to short-lived success. The pressure to consistently produce content that will garner attention can result in a burnout. Many podcasters who prioritize fame find themselves struggling to keep up with the demand of staying relevant, often at the expense of their mental and physical well-being. I know creating a podcast every week is not easy. Try doing a daily show. Holy crap. Can you imagine doing a daily show? How much work that takes? How much energy that takes? Now, other than complete and total burnout, there is another major side effect with chasing fame. And that is, if you chase the fame, you could push away your audience. And I'm talking about the audience disconnect. When content is created solely for the purpose of going viral or gaining fame, it can come off as inauthentic. And we all know that a good podcast is full of authenticity. That's like a big buzzword in the podcasting space. Authentic. Your show needs to be authentic. Because if it sounds like it's not, the listeners will figure that out. They can sense when content lacks genuine purpose and passion. This can lead to a loss of trust and decline in your listener base. Trust is everything. It is very hard to get, and it's very, very easy to lose. You can lose trust with your listeners very easily. And once the trust is gone, the listeners are gone. And having no listeners kind of defeats the purpose of actually reaching a level of fame with your podcast. As a podcaster or content creator or whatever, we are all influencers. There are things that I have said have influenced others to take action, whether it's buy a piece of gear, whether it's to do this thing or that thing, or use this product or that product. Things I have said have physically influenced others, and I'm sure you have done the same thing with your own show. But the goal is that you want to become an influencer with integrity. If your goal is to become an influencer, it's crucial to understand the responsibilities that come with that role. And just like that famous quote, with great power comes great responsibility. And influencers have the power to shape opinions and trends, which means you need to be mindful of your impact of your content that it has on your very own audience. Authenticity and integrity should be your guiding principles, not chasing the fame. But if your goal is to become an influencer, that's great. Go right ahead. But there's also an importance of role models. You see, just as you aim to become an influencer of yourself, it's also important to be aware of who is actually influencing you. Think about that. The content creators, the mentors, the peers you follow, everybody in your circle can shape your perspectives and your approach. Choose role models who prioritize quality, authenticity, and ethical behavior. Their influence will help you stay grounded and focus on what truly matters in your podcasting journey. Maybe when you were younger, have your parents ever said to you, "Don't hang out with those kids. They are a bad influence on you. They are up to no good. Little old Johnny's always getting in trouble. You don't want to hang out with him. Why don't you hang out with these kids?" "But Dad, those kids are boring. They're losers. I want to be with the cool kids, and the cool kids do bad stuff." Well, lesson learned. Now, truth is, they were probably right. You probably should hang out with people that were not being a bad influence on you. Okay, so what do we do? How do we make sure we are focusing on the right things and not the wrong things? How do we make sure that fame is just something that we see up ahead? It's not something we're focusing on right now. Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to set clear goals. Define what success means to you beyond just those numbers and the fame and the downloads. Focus on creating meaningful connections within your audience. And what I mean by that is this. I love downloads. They look great. And I love bigger downloads than smaller downloads. We all do. But more importantly than that is when you physically write me, is when you tell me, "I did an amazing show," leaving a comment or a post or an email, whatever it is. When you physically tell me the content I'm creating is amazing and you appreciate it, that means more to me than a million downloads. I love that stuff. And another thing you can do is you can invest in research. Now, I'm not talking researching who's famous and why they're famous and all the glitz and glamour. No, I'm talking about spending time understanding your audience's needs and interests. Craft content that resonates directly with them. Now, the biggest step with anything with podcasting when you start a show or have a show is to know exactly who your audience is. Because if you know who they are, that way you can design content that best serves them. And another thing here is that you should always stay authentic. Be true to yourself and your message. Authenticity builds trust and loyalty. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. Trust. It's a very hard thing to get, and it's a very, very easy thing to destroy. If you lie, if you cheat, if you are chasing the wrong things, you are pushing the audience away, and that is no good, let me tell you. And the last tip I have here for you is that basically you want to have a balance and well-being. You see, taking care of your mental and physical health, avoid burnout by setting realistic goals and taking breaks when needed. And I know that sometimes during this time of year, we're all traveling. I was just traveling. I just got back. I was traveling 2 big vacations where I was traveling quite a bit. And one way to make sure that I was being consistent with my content was that I actually batch recorded just enough episodes to get me through those weeks when I was gone. It's just that simple. Instead of making 1 episode a week, try to create 2 episodes a week. And they can be whatever you want. It's your show. Do it however you want to do your show. But I suggest you, if you know you're going to be traveling or you know you're not going to be available, then try to create 1, 2, maybe even 3 episodes and have them stagger out over the gap when you were gone. That's exactly what I did. Hey, I get it. When you see someone that looks famous, they've got all these great things, they've got millions of followers on social media, their YouTube videos are getting lots and lots of views, they've got sponsorships, they've got toys, they've got houses, they've got cars. Looks like they've got it made. But chasing fame might bring you temporary satisfaction, but it's the dedication to high quality content that will bring long-lasting success and fulfillment. As you continue your podcasting journey, remember the power of authenticity and the importance of being mindful of who influences you. Keep crafting content you're proud of, and the right kind of recognition will follow. Hey, thank you once again for listening all the way to the very end of this episode. I do appreciate you. I do make these shows for you. I love podcasting. Everything about podcasting and content creation I am all about, and I do not do this for the fame. I do this because I love doing it. That's the only reason I'm here. I do this directly for you. So if you could do me a favor and actually hit subscribe to this podcast on the app you're listening to right now, that would be amazing. And while you're there, perhaps maybe leave a review. That would be cool too. And maybe also, if you're in the mood, share this episode with your fellow podcasters that might need to hear it. And you keep on making your amazing podcast, and I will catch you on the very next episode. And until then, happy podcasting.